Tell me, baby, what I wanna.
Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to my channel. I'm Lauren, and today I have 3 healthy breakfast recipes for you guys to try. I have breakfast cookies, a chia seed pudding, and a fruit-free green smoothie. They're all meant to fuel your brain and power you through your day. I'm all about healthy fats, protein, and fiber. These are all super delicious. They're pretty easy to make. I'm actually planning on doing a series on my YouTube channel over the next couple weeks called Fuel Your Brain, because I'm all about nourishing foods that are going to heal your brain and help you feel your best and have energy. Since incorporating more healthy fats and protein into my day, I have noticed such a huge difference with my energy and my focus and my concentration. If I have too many carbs or I don't have enough fats, I notice it immediately and I can't focus as well. I'm not as present in class. So it's just all around so much better for your health to include more healthy fats. You don't have to be scared of fats. So I would love if you guys would like this video and give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I have lots more ideas to come, and I would love if you'd like to comment below on some other videos that you'd like to see. I also want to film a lunch/dinner recipe video because I have a couple good recipes that I wanted to share with you guys. So let me know if you'd like to see any of those videos and any other requests as well. I'm open to any ideas that you have. The first thing that we're gonna make is a chia seed pudding. This is one of my favorite things. You can make it the night before and it's easy to grab and go the next morning if you don't have much time for breakfast, and it's actually super easy to make. So I just made a batch of homemade cashew milk. This is my favorite thing. This is my favorite kind of milk alternative. It's delicious, it tastes so good, it doesn't have any sweetener or gums like the stuff that you can buy. So I personally prefer to make it. I find it very easy. I actually have a recipe that I shared on my Instagram, so I'll leave that in the link to that in my description below if you want to go make your own. You can also use any store-bought milk that you have, almond, cashew. If you are good with dairy, you can use regular milk too. I just prefer to use a non-dairy milk. So the first thing, I have 2 tablespoons of chia seeds in here. Half of a cup of cashew milk here. I kind of like my chia seed pudding a little bit more thick than most people, so if you like it thinner, you can add maybe another 1/4 cup of milk. It looks very thin and watery right now, but when you put it in the fridge, it's going to thicken up really quickly. So I have cocoa powder here. I usually have cacao powder just because it has more health benefits to it than cocoa powder, but this is all I had in hand today. So if you want a chocolatey version, you can add about like a teaspoon of this to the mixture, so it's going to be nice and chocolatey. And I usually add vanilla extract. I ran out of vanilla, so I'm going to use this almond extract that I have. My Grammy always used to make tapioca, and this combination really reminds me of that. So if you like tapioca or know what that is, then you might like the almond extract. So I don't add very much of this. Usually just about 1/8 or 1/4 of a teaspoon. And you can also add honey or erythritol, monk fruit, stevia, your sweetener of choice if you like. I personally find when I add the vanilla and the cinnamon, it's sweet enough. And the recipe that I use for my cashew milk has vanilla and cinnamon. So it has a lot of flavor naturally, and I find personally you don't need to add that much sugar. So now I also have a little bit of MCT oil here. This is optional, you don't have to add this. I love it because MCT oil is a great healthy fat that is actually converted directly by your liver into energy, so it's gonna really fuel your day if you have this for breakfast. I also have a tablespoon of collagen here. I am obsessed with collagen. I add it to absolutely everything. It's so good for your joints, hair, skin, and nails, and even your gut health. So you don't have to add this. You can just have the chia seeds in the milk and your flavors that you want, but I love adding this just for the extra health benefits that it offers. I'm also going to add a little bit of cinnamon. I love cinnamon, and it's really good at balancing your blood sugar, so I highly recommend this. Also, I use Ceylon cinnamon. It has a lot of extra health benefits than the normal cinnamon that you buy at the store, so if you can find it, pick up yourself some Ceylon cinnamon. It's very good for you. So now I'm going to pop this in the fridge, and in 3, 2, 1. And it's all done. I put it in the fridge for about an hour, and then I topped it with some Purely Elizabeth granola. It's her grain-free, I think it's her coconut granola. It's absolutely delicious. I highly recommend it. I drizzled some coconut butter on there and some mixed nuts from Central Roast. I actually love the salted ones in this chia seed pudding. They're just dry roasted and they're so good. I also added a tablespoon of cashew butter, and actually I think that's 2 tablespoons, but it's delicious. It turned out so good, and I think you guys will love this recipe. Okay guys, so the next thing that we're gonna make now is I love any type of cookie pretty much, so if I can have one for breakfast and it keeps me full and satisfied throughout the day, I'm in for that. So these are going to be grain-free, gluten-free, and sugar-free, because I'm going to use this Pecan sweetener. It's a monk fruit and erythritol sweetener, so it's not going to raise your blood sugar, and so it's going to help keep your blood sugar stable throughout the day, but still give you that sweet flavor. So the first thing that we're going to do, 1/4 cup of collagen. I'm going to add that to the mix. 1/4 cup of MCT oil. I'll also write the recipe in the description below, just in case you want to screenshot it or save it for later. I just melted some coconut butter in the microwave, and I'm going to add 1/4 cup of that to the mixture. Coconut butter is definitely my weakness. I eat it all the time, and if you haven't tried coconut butter with 80 to 90% dark chocolate, you need to try it. It's the best combination. It's so creamy and delicious. Now we're going to add some sun butter. This is one of my favorite things to add to my baking. I find it makes things super creamy and moist. So we're going to add 1/4 cup of this. I'm also going to add 2 tablespoons of some homemade cashew milk. You can use any milk of choice. You can actually even use water if you don't have any milk on hand. I actually also would typically add a teaspoon of vanilla to this, vanilla extract, but I ran out of vanilla, like I mentioned before, so I'm just gonna leave that out. I'm also gonna add a couple dashes of pink salt. I'm gonna add a 1/2 cup of this sweetener. I need my baking powder and my almond flour. I'll be right back. So we're gonna add 1 teaspoon of baking powder, and then we're gonna use 1.5 cups of almond flour. My legs are hurting. We also need 2 eggs. 2 eggs in there. 2 tablespoons of these hemp seeds. I love adding hemp seeds whenever I can because they're such a great source of good fats and protein. 1 tablespoon of chia seeds. I'm just going to crush up about a handful of pecans, a couple dashes of nutmeg. Now I'm going to use the same Ceylon cinnamon that I used for the chia seed pudding. I'm going to add about a heaped teaspoon of it or so. Mix that all together. They smell so good. They're dark chocolate chips that are sweetened with stevia. I love adding these to my baked goods. You can also use just dark chocolate if you want. I'm going to add a couple handfuls of these. Okay, so I just lined a baking tray with parchment paper, and I preheated the oven to 350 degrees. The batter is definitely going to be a little bit stickier than you'd imagine maybe for cookie dough, but that's okay. We can wash our hands after. My hands are, I need to wash my hands, but I'm going to pop these in the oven for about 10 to 15 minutes. I'll check them and let you know how long I put them in for, and then we will be back to see how they turned out. Okay guys, so I just took the cookies out of the oven. They turned out so delicious. I had to have a bite of one just to try it and make sure that it was good. And yeah, they're very, very good. Okay guys, so for the last recipe, it's going to be a smoothie. To be totally honest, I'm not a huge smoothie drinker. I just find all the fruit that are usually in them and the coldness of them can tend to upset my stomach a little bit. So I don't usually crave them or eat them that much, but this past summer when it was hot and everything, I started craving them a bit more. So I came up with this recipe that is full of healthy fats, protein, and fiber. So it kept me full all morning, and it didn't really upset my stomach as much because it is a fruit-free smoothie, except for avocado technically, that's a fruit. So let's get into the recipe. So first what we're going to do is I have my homemade cashew milk here. Again, you can use any nut milk you want. I'm going to do a cup of this, a 1/2 of an avocado, a tablespoon of MCT oil. Add any protein you would like. I would recommend vanilla. I don't really recommend this one. This is the plain one. I would recommend, when I made this the first time, I used the bone broth vanilla protein, and it's amazing. And this recipe is actually really good for your gut and your immune system and all that good stuff. So I would recommend, if you're going to invest in this protein, definitely do the vanilla. I'm going to add a tablespoon of hemp seed, about a tablespoon of this almond butter. Again, you can use any nut butter you'd like. I love hazelnut butter in this, or cashew butter too. Usually I like adding spinach into this recipe because I find spinach is very mild tasting. You can also add kale. I personally find kale very hard to digest raw, so I avoid kale in my smoothies, and I usually add spinach. You can add a good amount of greens into the smoothie, I find, and you can't really taste it. The flavors of the other ingredients really mask the greens flavor. Feel free to add some extra ice cubes here if you want it super nice and cold. So I'm just going to put the lid on. I don't have my thing on, so I'm going to have to just cover this. Check it. So creamy, it smells delicious. It has so much flavor, it's so delicious. If you don't want it as creamy, just add a little bit extra milk of choice. Or if you don't want to use milk, you could even add a little bit of water to thin it out. I like mine pretty creamy. Usually I'll put this in a bowl and put free granola and some nuts and seeds over top of it and maybe a couple berries. It's so good. Okay guys, that's all the recipes I have for today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Please give it a thumbs up if you liked it, and be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Leave me comments below with what you'd like to see next. I do want to do a meal prep video, and I wanted to do a grocery haul and some lunch/dinner recipes that I like. Also a video on how I cook veggies. I used to never like veggies that much at all, but now I love them and I honestly crave them, and I swear it's all in the way that you prepare them and season them. So I would love to do a video like that for you guys. Also, let me know if you try any of these recipes and what you think of them. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Have a great day guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!